It's a while since I've done one of these, as usual. I'm always a bit late and never on time. I hope somebody's going to come in Saturday afternoon. You would just never know. Aye. Hello, there's two people there. Heavens above. How you doing? It's wee Paddy. Hello, Schneider. How are you? One Schneider 156. You're very welcome. Just a wee quick live, not planned. A thumbs up already. Absolutely super. Um, who's that? Daniel Bridge. Good afternoon, sir. How are you? Just sort of throw a wee live together. I've been sitting here. I'll tell you what it is before we get started. I was sitting here just thinking what to do for a video, like I do at the weekend, and I throw some knives. I throw some knives up on the table, and I start to think of a topic. And this is what I sort of started with. This was my collection of knives in the first couple of months that I became a YouTuber. Um, and I just wanted to talk a wee bit about these, and then how you just managed to change from, for me, it's from the first year having these knives and being really happy with them to what I've got now 5 years later. And I just wonder if anybody else builds. I'm sure we all build something very similar, but I just thought I'd throw them down and talk about them because this knife, and this knife were definitely within the first sort of 6 months, I think, that I'd started. So I'm gonna wait till a few more people get in. What are you carrying today? Let me know what you're carrying today, and I'll let you know what I'm carrying after you do. Come on then, big boys. What have you got? Four of you. There's another one. Stick your name up. I'll know who you are. We're just. Oh, he's gone again. That was really sad. A sage, of course, yes. Fantastic. Do you know, I've never had a sage, but they're a lovely knife. They really are. It's just that, to me, in my head, they're very similar to a lot of Spydercos. I love Spyderco. I think they're great. My mate, yeah, hello there. Right. Come on then, mister. Show us what you've been carrying. Legion Tactical. Hello, how are you? I'm just asking people what they've got to get in, and then we're going to have a wee chat about where this hobby has led me in 5 years. And is it something similar for you? 6. We're starting to go up. I didn't know whether we get any on a Saturday afternoon. So, an open L number 8, custom. Very nice. Daniel has, that's his name there, in Blade Bridge Limited. He DIYs his open L's, so you should go over and have a wee look. And the GEC just got a bullnose, and it was his first GEC and loves it, which I think the bullnose is a fantastic knife if you can get a chance to get one. I know they're dear, but they're really worth the money. 7, my goodness, we're going up. Come on, boys, what else have you been carrying? Who's not putting up? Who's shy? I'm not doing all the talking. Honest, you have to put up what you've got. Oh, God, I can't even speak. You've got to put up what you're carrying today, or I'm not playing with you. Oh, you are very shy. Any questions then? I've been collecting for nearly 30 years. It was getting out of control. Do you want to know something? It can get out of control badly. And I went through a stage, not badly, because I'm pretty good with money, but I was accumulating a huge amount of knives that I had no need for. And I found it really hard to sell or get rid of them, move them on. Because this was a hobby. I wasn't doing it to make money. But I soon learned, well, I didn't soon learn. It took me a couple of years, and then I started selling a few, and it enabled me to move up the value of my knives because I was selling ones that I just hoarded and hoarded. There's number 8 then. How you doing? Number 8's gone back out again. Was waiting for the question. So come on then, give us what you're carrying. Or ask me any question at all. I don't want to start the proper discussion till I get 10. Going out with a wife, love to help. Daniel, have a lovely afternoon out with a wife. Nice of you to stop in, really appreciate it. Hit that like button as you're going out. He's probably the first one that hit it. Williams Knife Life, how you doing? It's really nice to see you. And I missed yours yesterday again, of course, because I was out running about. I was up at home for a while and up and down to the caravan, so I missed yours, but I watched it last night. I think I commented, but I watched it all last night. I do like your rambly live videos. I love them. That's the sort of video I like. And what I'm going to talk about today, folks, for those of you who are just in, is these are the sort of knives I had when I started. Hello, William. How are you? Tony, lovely to see you. These are the knives that I had when I first started. These were the knives that I collected, and this is the price range that I collected in. There's none of these or any of these bits and pieces here were over £20 because that was the budget I was dealing with. Lando Calstrin, not sure. Tips on getting a tip sharper. On getting a tip sharper. Do you mean that when you're actually sharpening, are you sharpening on a stone? Good afternoon. Text and show my appreciation support to the live stream. Unfortunately, can't stay. Not a problem. Catch you later on. Let me know. Put in with a comment. Byron, how the devil are you? It's really nice to see you. I got off-grid knives. Came and I've never tried an off-grid. There's so many of them about there now. They must be good. Somebody was saying, how do you sharpen a tip better? If you're hand sharpening, people have a habit. If you get your sharpener like this, people have there we go. There's the first knock. People have they'll go from here and then they'll go off. They'll just come straight down and off. What you want to do when you're coming down, if you're hand sharpening, is come down to there and just lift off and go back up, down. Now you'll get faster at it. And don't forget the curve of your blade at the end. You have to lift this wrist up. So it's like that, but don't come off the stone. When you come off the stone, you tend to round the tip. So if that's any help to you, that's what I would do to stop rounding the tip. I mean, if you're doing it with a fixed machine, you shouldn't be able to round it. But if your tip's rounded and you want to get it sharp and again, get a good point on your tip, this part of your blade, the back part of your blade, put it on a stone and just gently rub it until it comes down and meets the belly of your blade. So you just gently do it on a diamond stone, preferably, until you get it to come down. You know, you want to keep it as flat as possible there. Keep it there. Get it to come down and then sharpen. So you're sharpening to a really good tip. Most struggle with knives that have a deep belly on the tip. Yeah, probably. I can't really. I started to learn how to sharpen not long after it came around because I got friendly with a fella called Jeff Jewell. If you want to know anything about sharpening, I highly recommend Jeff Jewell. He's still about. He's still doing it. That fellow there, how are you? A Case Bros Razor Jack from 2006 today. Keep all the videos. Really lovely carry. I like something different. So yeah, if you want to learn hand sharpening, I'm going to rec Jeff Jewell because I've recommended him for 5 years and he's never let me down. Anybody who goes to it, morning, Prob Blast 82nd. I am so bad at this. This is why I don't do a lot of live videos. Reading this screen at the side just gets me conflustered. Johnny 5 EDC. Jeff has given me vice tips. Jeff is fantastic. He's very down to earth, loves helping people. And he's still around now. And after 5 years when I met him, he's still going strong. He was already an expert sharpener 5 years ago. So he's just increased and he helped me with stones, how to pick stones, how to use them, because I knew nothing. And now I'm all right. I'm not a Jeff Jewell. I don't, I probably be the worst person in the world because I'm not very good at explaining something on a video. Doing this live is complicated for me. But yeah, Jeff Jewell, go over and see him. Fantastic channel. And don't be frightened to interact with him. He really is a nice fella and will help you all he can. So I'm just going to start talking now. This is what I started out with 5 years ago. It's getting to I don't know when my 5-year birthday is. I must go on YouTube and just check out when it is. But it's very soon or it's past, one of the two. But 5 years, and this is the sort of knives that I had before I started the channel. I bought cheap knives, a lot of them from China. I still buy knives from China when I think they're good enough to buy. But I mean, these two, this one especially, was the first knife I showed on my channel. And this is the Ganzo. And this is a Ganzo F759M. An absolutely cracking knife. It's in 440C. It's the lockback. It's a copy of, well, not a copy, I don't know what you would call it. It's marked Ganzo, so it's not cloned. It's it's somewhere between the Bird and the Spyderco Delica, if that makes any sense to you. Somewhere between there, 440C. I still use this today. I don't know how many of them. This isn't the original one. I have had stacks. These are great to give to somebody who's just starting, and they cost about £8 to £10 still today. I mean, this cost me about £8 when I first started. An absolutely super knife. Is it as good as the Spyderco? No, it's nowhere near as good, but it works as good. Listen to that. It really does lock up. Sorry, I'm bouncing again. The lock up on it is just fantastic. And I've had this one a couple of years now, but I still use that. Love that. Big John, afternoon. How you doing? My name, changed my name from John Ruff. It felt too formal. John, it's good to see you. And if I missed anybody, just come back on. If you have any questions to ask, I'm just doing this as a bit of a waffle. So if there's any questions you want to ask, just ask away. If I don't see you the first time, I'll get you the second time. Now, here's one of the best knives that I ever got. These two knives are two of the best knives. This is the original one I had from 5 years ago. This is an old Ganzo, and this is the G729. In 440C, it has the axis lock, which was called the G lock then, but just a super. Obviously, we all know it's a PM2 sort of copy, but it was marked Ganzo. It had an axis lock, which the PM2 doesn't have. So there's enough change. The handle's not the same. It's a little bit shorter than a PM2, but it is so comfortable. Much more comfortable than a PM2, truthfully. It's 440C, not as good in the blade stock, but this is a fantastic knife. They do a new model of this now with an oval hole, much like the Firebird here. But I love this knife. I don't think I'll never get rid of this knife. They're like hen's teeth now. People will pay extra money to get one of the original ones. But these ones, the axis lock, you used to have to sit for about a week doing it back and forward just to get any movement on the axis lock. After 5 years, this is better than a PM2. It's just a cracking knife. Oh, for goodness sake, why do I keep doing that? Because you're clumsy, Paddy. But back then, this was a standout knife. This is the K-Bar Dozier, an absolutely super knife. I used to have a deep belly on it. I don't know how. I've tried raising the angle as I reach the tip, but I still don't get great results. Do you want to know? It's just practicing. It's just sit and practice. Get an old knife, get a cheap old knife and just sit and practice. And it will come. And it comes really quickly all of a sudden. It's that movement of coming down, trying to hold your hand still and then just lifting. I try to lift with my shoulder, right? So if I'm coming down and I lift with my shoulder, I'm not moving my hands or doing it with my wrist. I just lift my shoulder gently so that I'm getting up to the tip. Try that and see if that works. But this knife here, the Dozier, it's still about 20 quid now. It was just under 20 quid when I came around 5 years ago. Aussie. But the difference with K-Bar had a really good heat treatment. They've been doing it for years. And their Aussie was absolutely fine. It really is. And it's still to this day, Aussie, all right. Do you know what I mean? It's just HCR 13, basically, by another name, by a Japanese version. But it's great for a little pen knife and a pocket knife. And let's be honest, most of us have lots of big knives, but we use them as pocket knives because that's just the way we are. This is just a super knife. It's so free now. This isn't the original either. I had a blue one originally. Great knife. And I put this knife down because I had nothing but cheap little non-locking knives. Because I live in the UK, non-locking knives were all we could carry. And I really didn't know anywhere at all that sold locking knives until I found YouTube. Certainly UK, thanks for your ever attempt. I'm chatting here as civilized. Sorry. Big John, yeah, great knife to practice on. A bit too expensive. Unless you're confident enough to do it, I would buy a clatter of little cheap knives, like these ones. You can get them from China for about £8 to £10. Order 3 or 4 of them, or if you can see them in local, buy them local by all means, and practice on them. UK PK is getting expensive now. How many have you collected and kept in your collection? Do you want to know something? This last year and a half, I have given away, sold in batches, and I'm still doing it now because the modern knives are just so expensive. And like I am on a pension, so I don't have this abundance of money. A couple of years ago, when my parents passed away, I got a wee bit of extra money, and I was able to buy a great base of expensive knives. Expensive to me because expense is relative, definitely. So now I'm definitely under 200 knives now. At one stage, I was well over 300, but a lot of them were just cheap ones, and I didn't want to get rid of. I was just a hoarder, and that's what I was turning into. So I had to get myself to release them, keep the ones I really wanted for the channel, because a lot of them now, these Rough Riders are amazing. Amazing. A K Bar Dozier and D2 and blue scales. William, absolutely lovely. I think it's great that they have D2 scales now, but to be honest with you, for my life, this is still like new, and I only use it sort of just around the house and whatever. So I don't feel the need. I need to go out and buy the D2 model, and that's what I done when I first came around. Chased that next one up that I could afford, and D2 was just coming in, and it was a super steel or a really good steel. Let's put it like that. Anybody that got D2 5 years ago was really happy. But I've never felt the need, well, I don't feel the need now, I used to then, to chase all these super steels. There's so many of them top steels that are out now that I have never used or felt the real need to spend the amount of money they're asking just for that extra wee bit of retention, which I don't need. But I've been used my whole life with just non-locking knives. So getting these locking ones was exciting. And it's what gave me that push to get into YouTube. And I started off with all these basic ones. Still had my basic UK only ones. And then I used to have this. I started putting this in my keyring because when I first came around, I also started to get into EDC. Never carried a torch before. Never really carried one of them before. So I got one of them, and then I got a wee torchlight, cheap torchlight. And they weren't as powerful back then. I mean, this is quite powerful. It's about 100 lumens on a AAA battery. It's just, but that was the sort of ones I had, was all battery operated ones that hadn't really got into these new modern ones where you can have rechargeable batteries. So that was what I started with. And it took a long while to sort of move up the ladder. A lot of my moving up the ladder was too many flavors of steel for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's so much. Take it slow. Make sure you have good lighting so you can see what you're doing, and don't be afraid to focus on the belly. Oh, that's great information. Yep, great. I love people, especially in the comments. Join in if you see somebody's got a problem. Go and help them or put it up. Let it run through here till he sees it. But I think it's great to help each other in the comments. Absolutely, that's what live should be about. And I've just realised what William said to me, what he was carrying today. I hope that's one of five, William, and not just the only one, or you'll disappoint me. William would carry 3 or 4 knives, and every day he does it. A big blade on the side of his hip, most days, and I love the fact he does that. I would love to go out. My grandpa would castrate pigs with a spay and a stockman. He gave me one as a boy. I've had it for years. I started absolutely love Stockmans now. I didn't like Stockmans before. I actually do now. That's only just changed in the last year. Never spayed a pig. Something that could happen. It's the sort of thing I would love to happen. I would love to go and spay an old pig. So where did it go from here? I'm just going to try and keep talking in the background. I think I'll dip my toe into Queen City 440C knives as a Winterbottom bone. I haven't been hearing great things about the Winterbottom bone knives. Well, the fit and finish I don't think is great, to be honest with you. I would stick with a Rough Rider Reserve. To me, this is top quality. This is as good a quality a knife as you'll ever need as a pen knife. It's in D2. Micarta handles. The fit and finish is amazing. When they first came out, when I'm saying Queen, it's just they're made in the Rough Rider factory basically now. They're queen knives when they first came out. I bought that set of the bone, you know, the saw cut bone, really rough. I bought 3 of them and they were fantastic. But I'm afraid that winter bottom one, I've been looking at the reviews and I keep my eye on that because I love queen knives. I would love to get more of them. I don't have many, but I don't like that new one. It's too big. I'll never use the blooming thing. But now, if you will, I'm not running down your choice. Please don't think that. But to me, I've heard so many people say that the fit and finish is not great on them. So buyer beware, I think, because sometimes it can be like that. I recently bought the PC knife from for a discount. Super slim, sits them all in the pocket. Yeah. I mean, isn't it lovely? Along the way, I found so many knives that are just so comfortable that slip in your pocket. Love the Queen City. Got a lovely saw bone canoe. Yeah, I've got the canoe. I really, really enjoyed that set. I got 3 of them. I got the canoe. I got the sway back. And what was the other one? Oh, and a poker clash. Good man, William. I'm glad to see you're keeping up. You're my hero. I would just love to be able to carry. I think my wife would hit me if I carried that many knives. And apart from that, I'd probably get arrested here. So where did it go? Let's see. Well, this sort of knife was great. And this is going to sound so. Moving on from here was quite difficult because where do you go to? And to be honest with you, I'm going to show something different. In later years, this sort of knife I started to replace with UK made knives. Now I've got my Ashley Harris knife. It's about £100 against 20. And today, this would be my K-bar dozier. Now, it's not locking. If you can see the knives here, it was 3-to-1 locking knives, and it's now 3 or 4-to-1 slip joints compared to the locking knives. And I'm just going to show, I'm going to do a show of my carry. This would now be replaced with something like, you know, a British knife. I have the Queen City Peanut and Abalone. Never got that. Wish I had. Who was at the bottom? Lovely. Thank you. Joe Foster. Hello. Thank you very much indeed. It's nice to see you. Jersey Knife Guy. How you doing? Nice to see you. Daniel Porter. Looking forward to the upcoming release of the Shatton Morgan knives. I hope they're good. I don't see there, Daniel, I'm not trying to put you off. Please don't. This is just me. I don't see the knives of them. Warthog, I am so happy to see you. Really nice to see you. I've got some stuff today. This was my old starting stuff, and I'm sort of showing how I've gradually replaced it to today's knives and left out 5 years of collecting. But I've replaced, if you've just joined in, the K-bar dozier was one of my, I loved this knife when I first got it. It was lovely. It's one of those knives that looks so simple, but yet when you get one, you realize, yeah, that's what people are talking about. It's a super knife. Still recommend it today. This Sheffield, yeah, this one here is, this was a custom I got made by Ashley Harrison. You can go back, I have a video on this. Beautiful custom in 01 tool steel, big sheepfoot blade, and a blue dyed bone, and a Federals, or a shield in there. Beautiful shield, fit and finish, amazing, just easy open, and it is a real good stuff back. Really nice. How you doing, Warthog? Everything going along with plan, or have you had a few setbacks? I haven't seen you doing many videos. Hello, Thrifty Knifty, how are you? Dear Moose, I still carry the K-bar dozer. Yeah, K-bar dozer is a fantastic knife, and it's one I'll not get rid of because I love it for the sentimentality of having it. So there's one that I've changed. As far as it goes with slip joints, to be honest with you, Rough Rider have been brilliant. I've also loved the Rough Rider Reserve. And as outside of case, or, you know, once you start moving up, this to me is a better value to case for me over here in the UK because I don't get to handle them. So these have been coming. I've had a few of them now. Lovely. I can't wait to see your video, mate. It's great to see you back, and keep on plodding on. So, you know, I've moved up from this basic knives, and this Rough Rider standing for so many different cheap models that I had in the beginning, but they were just beautiful. So what have I got to now that I would replace my Rough Rider with? The knife I got yesterday. This is a beautiful GEC, and this is the Mustang. It's about 2 year old, this pattern. It's in purple. You'll not really see it. Well, you can see it at the bottom there. It's in purple bone. It has the Mustang on the blade, and it looks absolutely stupid, but not looks. It fits in my hand absolutely perfectly. It's a 3-inch cutting edge, so this knife will do me forever and anything that I need to do. 1095 steel, which I like because it strops easily back into action, and a beautiful knife. I've so many knives. I've no need for, all these other ones, but I have got one, which I'm going to show you. So to change this around a wee bit, I'm going to add another slip joint here before I go to the two. What a piece. Oh, that jigging is lovely. And I know a lot of people, I believe, don't like it because they think it's too big and the tops are too flattened, but I love it, I have to say. So I'm going to add another slip joint because this is, this is 100, this is probably 170, this is about 150, and this is the price bracket that I'm shopping in now. And it's only because I've got to the stage where I can sell a few or I can save up a bit because I'm in no rush to buy knives. In the beginning, when you start a channel, you're in this rush to keep up with everybody. If I could give anybody one bit of advice, don't try to keep up with anybody. Just do what you do. And if you haven't got enough to buy enough knives to make videos for that month, do these sort of videos where you talk about where you've come from, where you're going, what knives, why you like them. So this is a lovely, this is an Ace, the, what do you call them? Oh, Ace, but not the Ace Biblio. Yeah, it's that, well, come on, look, Stephen, for goodness sake. This is the Giant Mouse. I could not get that out. The Giant Mouse Farley, got from Fraymar Knives. They've got some in over there now. They've got some brass ones. So pop over there. That just, I remembered about that. They've got some brass ones over it. Fraymar Knives. I'll put it down below. Go and try a good brass one. But these are beautiful. This is in my Carta M390. I was using this last night and I didn't clean it because there's bits of tape all over it. But so this is my collection price range at the moment, is sort of 100 to 170. I don't want to really go up more for slip joints. I've got a few that are over that, and I'm quite happy I've got them. I have the Jack Wolf knives coming, very excited. Wayne, you will love it. I have one here. I was going to say these are £250 for the this is Paddy Live. Forget everything. Yep, chasing the leather flipper gets expensive. Traditionals walk slower. Yeah. Now this one's about £275 over here, about 300 in America. It has these dark matter carbon fiber scales, but the other ones are about 250 that I've got the micarta. My one is out on loan at the minute. Doing great, Roland. Great to see you. So I have these, and I'm going to be honest. I said this before. These are absolutely stunning. The walk and talk, the fit and finish is as good as anything I've ever had, whether it be custom or just, high-end makers. This is absolutely stunning. If I was on my own and I had to buy these, I would probably pick 2 or 3 to buy over the year and save like mad to get them because I wouldn't be able to afford. I'm going to get all of them thanks to Ben. I was friends before he even started this company. So I'm friends on YouTube. I'll probably never meet Ben. I know I'd love to meet him because he's an engaging man, never mind a knife lover and collector himself. So these are really the top end. So I didn't put it down because it's not something I would buy a lot of. But you see, if you ever can get the £250 saved, I highly recommend these. They are, you can't find a fault with them. They're just fantastic. But there's mine. GEC I love. I'm really into my British made knives now. But I also like, there's a European, the Giant Mouse. Absolutely. That's more of what I'm going to buy off now and in the future. Trading wise, to take this small little locking knife out of the way, which is hard because it's a fantastic knife. I got this. I traded for this which is the small 940. The 940, this is the 945. The 940 was my grill knife, always will be. I got this little 945, and you all know my hands. I'm about 3.5 inches here and about 4 inches up here. This wee knife, I can just get my 4 fingers on it, but I sneak up there and I get on comfortably. Now, that's only because I'm confident when I'm using this. If it gets at all worrying on what I'm cutting, I'll sneak back behind here, and the last finger goes off the back. But because of the shape, it just folds in there. Beautiful. Really, really gorgeous. Is that the only GEC in purple bone? I don't know. I haven't seen another one, but it's one that I liked 2 years ago when it came out. I didn't have the contacts I have now. So I wasn't able to get, say, contacts. I sound like a spy. It's just people I know that have helped me get the knives that I've got. And I've joined a slip joint group that help. They're great. They sell knives between themselves at reasonable prices. You'll pay a bit more for a GEC in a second hand. But actually, second hand over in the UK is probably cheaper than second hand in the States. Now, go figure that one out. Weed & Co. disappointing. Hope they get it together. Thrifty, yeah, I really agree. I think it was it one of your videos as well. I think you're one of the people that got that, the long skinny one, and weren't over impressed. I've seen quite a few, and I wish they would just spend more time and learn before they start bringing out, anything else. I have the GEC Viper 47 in purple bone. Simply gorgeous. Yes, I had the Viper in my Carta and I sold it to get something else, but it was always the purple bone I wanted. I wouldn't have cared whether I got a Viper or the Mustang. They're two beautiful blades. I think the Viper has does the Viper have a lanyard hole? I think that's the only difference. But they look very, very similar. So this is what I'm replacing now as my, and I don't mean to show up, but this is what I like to use when I've got a small locking knife. That's the best way of putting it. And this beautiful knife here, honestly, you can go over to AliExpress. They're about £16 or something like that there for one of these, 16 to 20. And they're just amazing knives. That's 5-year-old and it's still going. Do you know what I mean? Never lost a spring. So what am I going to replace that with? And I'm going to replace it with a Spyderco, because I think people expect you to. And I've got a couple of Spydercos, but not many now. I love this. This is my favorite Spyderco of all time. This is the Para 3. It's much more comfortable. It's much more small in the pocket. It's a smashing cutter. It's just ergonomically perfect. And you've got that fidget factor with the back lock on it. I can't do it in front of these cameras. And do you want to know something? Simply, I don't use them as much now because 9 times out of 10, if you catch me, I've got a slip joint in my pocket. So I'll take these out and play with them in the front chair. Right, let me see if I can catch up. Together with a sack, but a knife with a pot leaf shield is unique. It's definitely unique. There's no doubt about it. It's definitely, that was the new company that's going to be making the Queen knives, made one with a pot leaf in the front of it, which I found funny, although I'm not laughing at drugs because as an addict, I have to keep that in my head. Anyway, right, this is what I started with to put in my key ring because I was getting a wee bit EDC. People were talking about EDC and I'd never really got into it. So I moved from something like this to like a Leatherman Squirt. Really lovely little knife, and I got it just because I love the pliers. I love having a pair of pliers on me. I'm a bit handless sometimes, so grabbing small articles with a little pair of pliers is great. And then I went on to a Leatherman, and I had been given a Leatherman in the first year. It was one of the old original Leathermans. I still have it to this day. My daughter-in-law has got it and she uses it. And I got myself a wave a couple of months ago. This is just such an upgrade. It's unbelievable. To be able to get the knife blades and all out from the front is just super. Really do love it. I just don't... how do I get? Oh, it's a liner lock or a frame lock, whatever way you call it. Oh man! So I've got a new Leatherman. My old one is still there. My daughter-in-law just started a job where she needed to have one straight away, so I gave her mine so that she could use until she gets her own. She'll probably just keep it because she's a lovely wee daughter. She's not even a daughter-in-law yet. She's just a son's girlfriend of about 5 years. So I love the Leatherman, and I have the adapter for it, so it's got like a ratchet screwdriver. Really, really love that. And that's what I'll carry if I'm going out to do a bit of work, along with one of each of these probably, if I'm just going to work in a house and I'm not going to walk about the town. So the other thing I've got into now, instead of carrying the big Leatherman, if I don't feel I need it, this is a, forgotten what it is, Spartan light. And I love this because you have a light there. You can see and it's a smashing light in the dark. It gets me around the house. It's also got an inline Phillips screwdriver, which I just love. I love it. And it's got the rest of the other tools. It's got your can opener, bottle opener, and 2 blades. But one of the blades, yeah, it's just a little pen blade and a large blade. I am loving this. And there's a few tools in the back. So this will go, if I'm not going to take, if I don't need the big Leatherman, I'll take that. Flashlights have changed. These were ones that I used when I first came around. They were little AAA or AA batteries. Are locking knives legal to carry in public? No. Sadly, Lando, they're not. It has to be non-locking and under a 3-inch cutting edge to be legal to carry. And even then, you're still at the discretion of a policeman. So it's, for young lads, I feel really sorry for them. In my day, we could carry freely. We could carry a hip knife, whatever, but the laws have changed over the years and it's just ridiculous. We're a nanny state. Like we all say every time, it's not the knives that kill people, it's people that kill people. So they have moved to, yes, I still like the small knives, but this one has different flashing lights, Morse code. Justin, how you doing? I may bear some responsibility for that. Yeah, he really has. Jared, how you doing? So I still love the little small AA batteries, but this is this is charging. I can plug this in and charge it. I don't need to find batteries. But then I went through a stage of getting the Olights. This is a perfect little one, a little baton. I think this is a baton too. Baton mini. I don't know what this is. No idea. Anyway, it's a lovely little torch. And it works great. But I went and bought a whole stack of bigger ones, and I got some sent to the channel. I drove hard into that and heavy. Yeah. if I could tell you how many in the space of a month, Jersey, let me just show you. Dun, dun, dun. And they're doubled up this end. I have a stack, and I'm really enjoying them. I've slowed up now. I don't need to buy so many. But I've had to write all their names on a bit of card because I can't remember them. So there's my journey through all sorts of knives. I'm now into pens. So I'm really looking for a nice small titanium pen. If anybody's got one to sell, or especially, I can't really afford it, I could trade you for knives. I've plenty of knives to trade. If anybody's got a really nice little titanium pen. Now, there you go. How's that go? There's my collection, and how it sort of just grows, and how much I love having these more expensive knives now. But I can't take away from some of the old ones. It just makes me happy to live in Arizona. Yeah, honestly, the police can carry a gun, though. That's fair enough. I would love to be somewhere where I could openly carry. And it's not that I want to carry a hip knife anymore. I just want to go out and carry something like this and not worry about it. Or something like this and not worry. Well, I do something halfway. I like your thinking, William. I missed that, William. Anyway, what do you think? Did most of you go through that same experience of buying all sorts of knives and then finish up with the biggest part of my collection of knives now I want to keep? I mean, for a small locking knife, I don't need any better than this or this. They're just, how much better can you get? That's an M390. That's an S30V. S30V would be my favourite super steel because it's easy to sharpen, takes a screaming edge. And I don't sharpen as much now. Strangely enough, I learned how to sharpen and I don't sharpen as much because, in all honesty, Byron, you're going to have to beef up the suspension supports. Oh, I really will. It's all right. My belly's starting to pin my trousers down at the front. And that's the truth. I was wearing a big buckled belt yesterday. I was sitting watching the TV last night for about 4 hours. And I wondered what the pain in my stomach was. That belt buckle nearly killed me. We should never take the Second Amendment for granted. Heavens above, no. Heavens above, no. That is some. And I fully agree with that. Because, again, I don't believe guns or knives kill people. It's people that do it. And I'll always stick by that. Even before I was a knife lover, you shouldn't be a nanny state and being told what you can have and can't have. That does not make for happy people. So, there you go. Any questions before I go? I'm on about 40 minutes now. Here in Sweden, you need a good reason to carry a knife going fishing. Yeah, I mean, if I wanted to take a fixed blade or a knife for fishing, as long as I'm going that, I can put it in my fishing box, but not carry it on me. Tell the nanny to be more sensible. Oh, she's a hell of a nanny. Mary Poppins had nothing on her. Mary Poppins had nothing on her. Now, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that was even a wee bit interesting. And, if you can make a video, make a video. I can't even reach my shoes. Perry suspenders, Paddy, with the belt hooks. Yeah, definitely. Look, thank you so much for popping in. I really am pleased. And to get so many people in, I think we're about 30 at one stage. Yous are all gents. It's lovely to see you. And I really want to start catching, especially William and, what do you call that other fella that lives in that big house and has the motorbikes? What do you call him again? Oh, he's gone out of my mind. Jersey Knife Guy. And all the other new channels that are getting up to 1,000 subs and making videos. It's lovely to hear your voice. Warthog, I can't tell you how happy it is to see you. Loved seeing you here, mate. And I hope everything's going well for you. Prayers from all of us on here, I'm sure. And very much so by me. Right, Jersey, get away off there and do some work. I'm away now to have something to eat. I'm starving. Take care, everybody. See ya. Maybe not so long the next time. Bye-bye now. Don't know how to stop the blooming thing. How to stop it. X top corner. Yeah. Bye now.